Hello, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of The Quest for Happiness. If you don't know me, my name is Kristen Jensen, and this is my vlog where I talk about how to inject more happiness, peace, and joy into your everyday life. And kind of like how I went from living in a really bummer place of depression and anxiety into living, with a lot of joyfulness in my life every day and how I got there. So today, hi Dee, we're joined by my boyfriend's cat Dee, and we're going to talk about FOMO, right? And this feeling where we're like, oh, my friends are doing something totally cool, and I am stuck at home or I'm stuck at work, right? So FOMO stands for the fear of missing out, FOMO. And we often get this feeling when our friends maybe go to giant parties or conventions or vacations or whatever it is that our friends are off doing, and we're like, oh, I'm stuck at home, or I don't have the money to do that, or I have to work, or whatever it is where we're not able to join them on that trip. It sucks, right? And it hurts. And especially when you feel like you weren't invited to something, like, ooh, those hits you right in the feels. So we're going to talk about today what to do to move on from that and how to have a great time anyway. So basically, when I think about FOMO, when I have experienced it in the past, and you know what? It's not like just this thing you magically get over. So when I do experience it, I try to work through it, right? Like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Literally, I just ask myself these questions. I sit down and I'm like, okay, honey, why do you feel like you're missing out on some of the fun? And sometimes the answer is really straightforward, right? Like, well, because I had to go to work today and my friends are at the beach, right? Like, that's pretty straightforward. Other times it's not as straightforward. It's like, well, two of my friends went on vacation together and they didn't invite me. And, we usually do things together. Like, okay, well, that hurts because I feel like I wasn't invited, right? I feel left out. I feel like we're not as good as friends as I thought we were, right? And then I work through that with myself. So it's like, okay, well, in the first scenario, there's not a whole lot to work through, it is what it is. But in the second scenario, it's like working through those feelings is really going to help you figure out why you're feeling that way, for one, and for two, to process those feelings. And I think it's okay to feel feelings, right? I never want to advocate like just let bad feelings go, let negative energy go, because sometimes we feel these feelings because we need to, right? And while I do advocate living in joy and peace, right, sometimes we have to go through the muck. Now, one of my favorite authors, Thich Nhat Hanh, one of his books is called No Mud, No Lotus. And so he talks about how the lotus, this beautiful flower, grows out of the mud, right? And so suffering, is kind of a part of life in a way, and that when we kind of detach ourselves from certain outcomes, the better it's going to be for us. So sometimes we're in the mud, right? And just processing those feelings and then letting yourself know, like, be a parent to yourself. Like, honey, it's okay that you're feeling this way. It's okay you're feeling left out. It's totally normal to feel left out. And then once you've parented yourself a little bit, once you've taken care of yourself in that way, maybe then you can approach the situation from a different point of view. Now, once you've processed, any emotions around it, just like kind of parented yourself, done a little bit of self-care, it's time to take it up to the next level of self-care, right? Because obviously you're missing out on something. So let's bring some other joy into your life in a different way. So what I like to do is, if I can't join my friends at the convention or the party or the vacation or whatever it is that I feel like I'm missing out on, I do something for myself that I know I'm going to think is pretty rad. So sometimes that could just look like throwing a little party, like relaxation party for myself. So I go to the store, I get myself a candle, I get myself a bath bomb, maybe I buy myself a new book to read, right? And so I go and I'm like, okay, I'm going to create this great experience for myself. Now, if it's something like I want to get out of the house, well, then I'm going to go do something by myself or maybe with a different friend to help myself to recognize that that one thing isn't all there is to life, right? Like there's so many other possibilities that can bring you joy besides that one thing that your other friends are doing. So why don't you take a minute? Why don't you take a minute to think about what else would be super cool to do instead, and then go do that thing instead of just wishing you were doing something else, right? Wishing you were doing something else is not going to do anything good for your heart. It's just going to weigh you down. It's going to make you feel worse and worse. So do something for yourself. Take action. Like once you've processed those emotions, once you've gotten through those feelings, go take a walk. Go to the park, call up a friend, text a friend, be like, hey man, do you want to meet me and grab some pizza? Or hey, do you want to go down to the beach and take a walk and chill out? Or hey, do you want to come over and play a game with me? Like whatever it is, or you can do it all on your own. I just got back from visiting happy hour all by myself at one of my favorite restaurants. I got this giant plate of nachos that I love. I love nachos. And it was so awesome just to create, a nice little afternoon for myself. So I went to happy hour, I got some nachos, I stopped by the bookstore, grabbed a new book, and they were having a sale today, which was super cool as well. And after that, I perused my local Value Village and had some great finds there as well. And now I am relaxing, enjoying a wonderful sunset. So whatever it is you feel like you're missing out on, create a new experience for yourself that you can find joy in anyway, right? And that way, even though maybe your other friends are doing this cool thing, well, guess what? You're doing something cool too. But the trick is that you have to take action. I know it's hard. I know it feels so much easier to get in your jammies, scroll through Instagram or Twitter and see all the pictures everyone is posting from wherever they are, right? And just be like, oh, this sucks. I'm stuck here, or I couldn't go, or I feel bad, right? Like sometimes, yeah, we do, like I said at the beginning of this video, we do need to sit and process our emotions. But there comes a time where you are just, I call it vortexing, right? Is that you started this negative energy, like negative emotion loop, and you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it, right? And you're going down this spiral until you just feel extra shitty. And so let's stop that. Let's nip that in the bud. And, like I said, process the emotions. Say, okay, why am I feeling this way? Either it's, a simple answer or it's a less simple answer. But whatever it is, like give yourself permission to feel that. Like, okay, it's totally okay, honey, for you to feel that. And then go do something for yourself. And whatever that looks like, make sure it's fun for you, right? Don't just binge Netflix for hours because it's the easiest thing to do. Take a moment to think about what would be fun for you. What do you wish your friend would call you up and be like, hey, do you want to go do with me? Then do that for yourself. Go take a walk, go to the beach, go to the movies, go get dinner, whatever it is. Go do that for yourself. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that when your FOMO strikes again, that you'll keep this in mind. And instead of, falling down that vortex of feeling really shitty, that instead you say, you know what? Nope, I'm going to do something nice for myself. So have a wonderful week, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me again. And I will see you next week. Bye.